Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to For StarCraft 2 Strategy, your #1 location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Terran strategy. It's going to be a Terran versus Zerg, and basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be kind of being a little tricky here. We're going to be making our Zerg opponent think that we're going to be going for that Mass Reaper build early in the game, which is very, very strong, very well, also being seen very often in the past few weeks, I would say. But instead, what we're going to be doing is actually pumping out Marauders and getting Hellions as well. Now, the reason we're getting Marauders is because Marauders are going to do very well versus any amount of Roaches that he would be getting, which, of course, Roaches do strongly versus Reapers, so it's not too far-fetched to think they would be getting Roaches. But we're also going to be pumping out some Hellions as well. Hellions are going to do very strong against any sort of Speedlings that he's likely to be getting. Speedling is, a lot of times, as a Zerg player, the proper early response to seeing Reapers coming out. Now, again, he's not actually going to be seeing Reapers coming out, but he's going to be seeing the making of Reapers coming out. So in making that assumption that that's what is going to be coming, he's going to respond accordingly. And we, of course, again, are being a little tricky. We're going to instead be getting those Marauders and Hellions. So taking a look at things here before we get into the actual gameplay, the players in this strategy replay, Maro is going to be our Terran player, and the Zerg player that we're looking at is Hydra. So we're going to be starting off with that 10 supply depot, following that up with, of course, the 12 Barracks, and then while the Barracks is building, we're going to be getting that Refinery. So pretty standard opening as far as the Zerg player that we're looking at is concerned. He's getting that early extractor, followed with that spawning pool immediately after, allowing him to get that gas early to tech up to the Speedling, Layer, or Baneling Roach possibilities. So yeah, basically, let me go over one more time why this strategy is effective. It's going to be effective because it's being a little tricky. We're kind of hiding our tech in the fact that they're not going to be thinking that we're going to be going for what we're going for. And this is just kind of one of those. It's one of those scenarios. Obviously, this is only going to work once or twice versus a player. More likely only once versus a player, because after seeing someone do this, they're likely to think, okay, well, now I know that that's a possibility that he's going to be going for, so I'm not going to count on the fact that he's going for something else. But this is just to kind of show you, if you see a lot of stuff, certain strategies going on in in your games that you're playing, in your ladder games that you're playing versus your opponents, or even if you just play versus your friends often and you see them going for the same sort of strategy, you can never really fully assume that they're going to be going for a certain thing, because there's always that possibility that they can just switch it up on a dime. So I guess that basically what that kind of tells you is that you always want to make sure you keep your scouting information high. You always want to make sure that you're constantly looking at your opponent, constantly trying to figure out what they're doing, because there is also always that possibility that they can switch things up on you. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of playing versus real people as opposed to playing versus computers, that real people can switch things up, they can try new things, and computers aren't as likely to do that. They're kind of programmed to do certain things, and nothing beyond that is typically what you'll ever see versus an AI opponent. That also harkens to the fact that I've had a lot of people ask me if they should play computers to practice for multiplayer. I'll tell you right now, that's a terrible idea. Playing versus computers is not going to teach you much of anything to get better in multiplayer. But enough of that tangent, let's get back into things here. So as you can see, basically what happened here is our Zerg opponent moved up, and they saw that we had that tech lab on the Barracks, and what they're going to be thinking at that point is that we're going to be going for those fast Reapers, because again, that's been seen a lot lately. In the past couple weeks, that's been a very popular Terran strategy, because it's very strong. Now, of course, over time, the Zerg players are going to learn how to counteract that, and effectively a strong counter to that is getting those Speedlings early on, also getting some Roaches out. So that's what we're going to be seeing our Zerg player do. But again, instead of going for those fast Reapers, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be coming out with Marauders, and then we're also going to be coming out with these Hellions to deal with any Speedlings that they may be seeing. Now, as you can see there, our Zerg opponent was pushing an Overlord into our base. We did, in fact, pull our units back into this corner far away from him to try to prevent him from seeing what we had there, because we don't want him to be fully aware of what our tech is. We don't want him to be fully aware of what we're going for. Because again, if he's fully aware, he's going to be able to counteract that. So trying to hide that scouting information, trying to leave our opponent in the dark, that's kind of the goal. Now we are finally pushing forward with this Hellion, so he is aware that we do have a Hellion at this point, and he still hasn't seen any Reapers. So it's about at this point that he realizes, okay, maybe that Mass Reaper build isn't coming. But unfortunately, about at this point, it's a little bit too late. It's a little bit too late in the game. We've already devoted fully to this push that we're going to be going for, again, with those Hellions and Marauders. And we're, of course, just waiting for that concussive shell to be finished. And as soon as it's finished, that's actually when we're going to be moving forward. And that, from what I gather, is the definition of a timing push, in case anyone was actually wondering. It's moving out specifically at a certain time when you have an upgrade ready or when you have a certain unit out. And we're actually going to be going all in for the most part. I mean, if we lose this, we're going to lose so many SCVs, our economy is going to be hurting greatly. But I said it in a prior video, and I'll say it again. Pushing forward with these SCVs can be very beneficial to you. What it's going to allow you to do is going to allow you to have some sort of distraction for the enemy player's AI. And what that means, some people are confused by that. They asked me if I was playing versus a computer. No, well, for one, I'm not playing this. This is a replay of other players. But when the units attack, they attack in a certain order that they're programmed to attack. And as you can see, all those Zerglings, if you move the Zerglings into this mass amount of force, they kind of go straight for those SCVs that are in the front. And that allows us to have a full use, uninterrupted, of our damage dealing units back here. And it basically just really screws them up. The only way for them to really counteract that would be to swing the Zerglings around us and then engage from that side, and then the Zerglings would have gone straight from there. But of course, sending them into attack from this side with the SCVs in front, it kind of confused them and mixed them up a little bit and forced them to attack that. And so that's why moving forward with SCVs can be effective. But again, looking at the general scheme of things, as you can see, he had those speedlings. He was prepared for that early game Reaper push, but it never happened, and moving forward with these Hellions and these Marauders was just too much for him to handle. So yeah, going over things real quick here as far as what we're looking at when build order is concerned. Started off with that 10 supply depot, followed that up with the 12 barracks, and then of course we get that refinery. Now then attaching a tech lab onto our barracks, and again, instead of starting out with those Reapers, we went ahead and started producing Marauders. We'd get this block off, as is very important versus Zerg, because you do want to make sure you don't get Zerglings running into your base and ruining your day, basically. And yeah, so we did those Marauders. We went ahead and dropped the factory with a reactor on it, started producing those Hellions, and then we kind of pushed out once that concussive shell research was done with this massive Marauders and Hellions, and bringing those SCVs as well to mess up our opponent as they tried to attack our units. And yeah, as you can see, it was a very effective push. So again, guys, this has been For StarCraft 2 Strategy, your #1 location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. If you guys like our videos and you like what we're doing here, please do go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Keep watching and keep owning, guys. Ball. We also have these medevacs tailing right up behind us. Going to be very good healing our units and also lifting them off to do some more harassment. Now here you can see this is what I'm talking about. Microing your units back. This is very, very important, especially